Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Real Positive Girl podcast. My name is Sabrina. Happy Thursday to you all. It's my favorite day of the week. I just love Thursdays. They're such a good day. But I hope that you're having a great day. And whether you are just beginning your day, you're in the middle of the day, or you're towards the end, I hope that it's going fantastic. If you just heard a little jingle in the background, it's because it's my cat and I can't get rid of him. And he's very sweet, but he has a bell on, and he's, roaming around as cats do, so I apologize for that little bit of noise in the background, but we do what we have to do when we record in our homes, and I don't have a closet to record in. So currently I'm recording in my dining room area, and that's just what you gotta do sometimes. But anyway, I hope that you're having a great day, and if you're having a kind of a rough day or a tough day, then I encourage you to take the 5-minute reset, where you take at least 5 minutes to be by yourself, more time if you have more, but take at least 5 minutes to be alone, to come back to baseline, to kind of reset your day, to just feel better about what you're going through. You're kind of taking a breather. You're kind of just letting all that weight off of your shoulders so that you can have a mini break. Also, take the time to make a list of at least 4 things that you are grateful for, and those can be really big things. Those can be really small things. Those can be medium things, like maybe you got a really fun card, thank you card, something in the mail and from a friend. That's always great. I really enjoy getting mail. I don't think I'm alone in that, but yeah. So maybe you're really thankful for that. Maybe you're really thankful that you actually folded all 7 baskets of your laundry. I would be really grateful if I was able to find the time to do that. Or maybe you're just super grateful that you're able to have dinner with family and friends tonight. You're finally able to go out and eat at a restaurant. You're finally able to go back and shop at TJ Maxx, whatever it may be. You can be grateful for it, and I encourage you to make a list of at least 4 things. In addition to that, if you have time, take time to kind of problem solve whatever problems are getting in your way, whatever's bringing you down, whatever's causing you stress. And also, before you end your 5-minute reset time, I encourage you to be able to walk away from it feeling at least neutral, if not positive, about the rest of your day. Because despite what may be happening to you, despite whatever trouble you're running into, I encourage you to be able to walk away and feel at least neutral, if not positive, because everyone's life is hard and everyone's going through different things, and you're going to have good days and bad days and medium days. And just realize that even though you might be going through some of the hardest things in your entire life, there are still a couple of things for you to feel grateful for and to be positive about. So that's what I encourage you. If you are having a hard day, take the 5-minute reset. But like I said, and I say every single time, I hope that you're actually having a fantastic day. And just a reminder that this week we are talking about stop giving up on yourself. And today, Thursday, we're going to talk about feeling overstressed and overworked. So let's go ahead and jump right in, because I have a feeling this is going to be a little bit longer of an episode. So go ahead and buckle up and get ready. You know that all consuming feeling you get when you are overworked and overwhelmed with just about everything in your life. I am here to help you. You know that all-consuming feeling you get when you are overworked and overwhelmed with just about everything in your entire life? I'm here to help you get through those experiences with some suggestions on what to do when you feel this way. And I know that we have all come to this point in our life where we have felt this way. We have been just overwhelmed, overworked, just at our wits' end, and we are not sure what to do. And despite what it is that causes you to feel overwhelmed, whether it is relationships, your job, past trauma, lack of sleep, financial issues, or mental health stress, the common denominator is that these things are creating more stress in your life that you don't need. We don't need to continually pile stress on ourselves on purpose when life is definitely going to just throw it at us, whether we want it or not, right? Some common symptoms of being overwhelmed is realized anxiety, anger, irritability, doubt, helplessness, and worry. And the big one that stands out to me right there is anxiety, because I suffer from anxiety so badly, and definitely feeling overwhelmed and overworked increases that by miles and miles and miles. So if you are experiencing any of those symptoms, you could be overworked or overwhelmed. So here are some important things to note about being overwhelmed. Just know that you are not alone in how you're feeling. And I know this might not help much, but it could help a lot to know that you're not the only one suffering. Many people have the same experiences, but it's important to remember that you have been overwhelmed before. and we're able to get through it somehow. So there is comfort in reminding yourself of that. That's not really the best tip, and I'm honestly not really going through significant tips right now. Those will be at the end, but it is important to remember that right now you're like, I just need some tips on how to overcome this. But remember that you have overcome it before, you will be able to overcome it again, and maybe today I'll be able to give you some better tips to overcome it for the future so it doesn't last as long and it's quicker. But just know that everyone is going through something, you've been there before, and you will get through it. And if you have that perspective when you are stepping into having those feelings, it's a lot easier to realize that, okay, this is not going to last forever. Or sometimes when we are in the middle of like a tornado of feelings and emotions, we feel like we're going to be there forever, and that's just like it's not true reality, but we can easily get stuck there. So I just wanted to make sure that I definitely pointed that out, and know that when you're having these thoughts of feeling overwhelmed, that it's all in your mind and not your actual reality. And I know that might sound harsh, but it's true, because even if some things in your life are falling through the cracks, not everything is as catastrophic as you feel it is. And that is just some real honest truth for you, because even myself, many times I will feel like the whole world is just crashing in on me, when in reality, if I took like 10 steps back, even just 5 steps, and like looked around and realized, okay, well, I still have this going, and this going, and this going, and this going, and these things are going well. But then, it's like we always want to highlight the bad things. Been talking about that a lot recently. We always want to highlight the negative things, the bad things, when in reality, there are good things, or just even like neutral things happening in our life that are still keeping things afloat, still keeping things in the positive, keep continually helping our life go and work for us. And so it's important to realize that sometimes we just create this altered reality in our minds and make everything seem like it's worse than it really is. So I want you to kind of take a step back and try to figure out if you are really just getting yourself all worked up for no reason, despite how harsh that might sound to you. So, and I know it can be a little stressful and overwhelming when you like start a new project, a new job, new anything, but just know and believe that things will come together in the end. This comes back to having the right mindset, when all your brain wants to do is take a deep dive into negativity, and remind yourself that you do not need to be the best at everything from the jump. And if I have any people pleasers or fellow perfectionists out there, you understand this to a T, because a lot of times people with those personality struggles want to be able to do everything perfect from the jump. And I suffer with this all the time, even though I tell myself, okay, I'm going to try it. I don't have to be the best at it, but it's that like gateway feeling of, oh my gosh, I'm so good at this from the beginning. I'm getting it. I'm just getting it so quickly. And, you kind of like ride that train of like, oh, I'm getting it so well, so perfect from the jump. And I'm just going to continue to ride that train. And then you will crash and burn so hard if you continue with that mindset. You have to expect that something bad's going to happen. And I believe that I spoke about this yesterday. You have to expect that you're going to make mistakes and be okay with it, because that's just how normal life is. So anyway, just, remind yourself that you do not need to be the best at everything from the jump, and that, when you start something new, it can be a little stressful. It can be a little overwhelming. It can feel like you're going to be overworked from the beginning, but that's just how new things are. And if you just accept that mentality, it'll make it a lot easier for you to get through it and get started, and not feel like you're not going to be able to continue to work through it or get it done or persevere. And I understand that new responsibilities and challenges bring on the stress hardcore, but take a step back and evaluate the situation for what it is. Just something new that you will eventually adapt to. And if you don't, that's still not a problem. Just ask for help. I always tell you that you should ask for help. Ask for help from your family, your friends, someone that you trust, a mentor, a coach, someone that you look up to, or even professional help if you need to get a counselor or a therapist, someone to help you, give you ideas, map out like a kind of a journey, a path that you need to take, ideas on how to problem solve, all those kind of things. There's no shame in asking for help and getting assistance. But I do want you to know that if you are just able, like I said, if you're able to step back and accept the mindset that things aren't necessarily going to go perfect, and some things are going to be harder than others, and, but if you just continue to keep going, then it'll be easier to adapt to those ideals and to get through it all, Now, sometimes we make things bigger in our minds than it actually is. And as always, I am not here to diminish your feelings or emotions, but sometimes our sense of reality is off. And the best way to evaluate whether this is true or not is to step away from your issues and help someone else with theirs, like volunteering or donating your time some other way. So again, with me mentioning the fact that maybe you're making it into something way bigger than it actually is, it's kind of just expanding more and more and creating like a town of its own in your mind. Does anyone else feel like that? I feel like just as over time, if I do not take control of what's happening in my mind, then it just continues to expand as into its own town, city, continent. And it gets a lot harder once you let it expand in your mind. It gets a lot harder to actually like conquer it and overcome it and break it down. But if you take time to step back and help someone else with the issues that they're struggling with, their problems, especially people that aren't necessarily as well off as you will change your perspective really quick. Your mindset will shift because you'll realize that, a lot of times we can be so caught up in our own problems, our own bubble, and that's fine. That's just how everyone is. And personally, for me, I know it's not the best thing, but it is something that I just expect, and it's fine because I just know that that's how we are. It's easy to get caught up in your own issues because you're so directly focused on it. But once you take a step back and realize that other people are going through things that are harder than you, and again, not diminishing your feelings, not saying that what you're going through isn't important or isn't hard or isn't tough. It's just a matter of shifting your mindset and realizing, okay, well, I'm going through these hard things, but this person is going through even harder things, and I should learn to be more grateful and realize that in the end, it'll still be a lot easier for me to overcome these things, but they are going to have even a harder time, and what can I do to help them? And that'll make you feel good too, and that'll help them out. And it's just like, it's an amazing feeling to actually help someone else out with their issues. But I would just encourage you that if you are having a really hard time breaking away from being super overwhelmed with your own issues, step back and help someone else with theirs. It'll greatly change your perspective very quickly. And this, of course, leads me to talking about how important being grateful is, and practicing gratitude on the regular basis is key to your well-being. It truly is. It will help you put things into the best perspective. I talk about this all the time. I will not harp on this today, but again, gratitude is one of the best things that you don't even realize that you need to be doing on an everyday basis, which is why I talk about it every single day. When I talk about doing the 5-minute reset, I'm telling you, if you are not listing out things to be grateful for every single day, you are absolutely missing out on a mindset shift that you might actually not even realize that you need, and that will actually propel you into a better mood and better headspace to get things done throughout the day, and to just be more grateful and accepting of what's going on in your life and the opportunities that you have had, that you're going to get, and that you're currently going through. So that's that on gratitude for today. Have you ever come to a point where you feel crippled with fear and not sure what to do next, or the need to figure it out is too overwhelming? This is the moment when you need to push through as hard as possible. You will never know if it was all just built up in your mind if you don't do something. So even if it turns out to be wrong, there's usually an opportunity to make it right. So if you have the opportunity to just push through, try something out, even if there could be small consequences that could come if you do make the wrong choice, the wrong decision, go the wrong way. But sometimes, being so overwhelmed with fear and not being able to make decisions, not being able to figure out which direction to go is so tough. But the best thing that you could do is honestly do something. Do something. And I know that doesn't sound like the best advice, but honestly it is, because I feel like the best way to get over like that kind of fear where you just don't know what to do is to actually do something, because you can continue to tell yourself positive things. You can continue to go through exercises where you will make hard decisions in theory, but if you don't actually just get out there and do something and get in the muck of it and make those mistakes, you will not learn anything, and you will not become any bolder or braver than you have been. So I encourage you, just jump right in. And they say that those that find ways to overcome their struggles are the ones that never give up. And I'm pretty sure we all want to be that person where we never give up. So keep that in mind as well. And know that people are out there rooting for you. It may not feel like it, but those close to you want you to succeed. And tell yourself that the next time you don't think you will be able to make it through your current tornado of issues. And yes, I consider things that are just too overwhelming and cause you to be a bit irrational in the beginning as a tornado, because it genuinely feels like a tornado, you know? The emotions and the feelings are all swirling around, all your thoughts, positive, negative, unsure. It's just like all swirling around in your mind. And sometimes I feel like it actually is physically swirling around above my head, and I just don't even know what to do. And all I want to do is find a place to hide, find a bathtub to hide in, you know, get under the table, hide under the blankets, not wanting to get up every day and deal with any issues that are continuing to plague me on the regular. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's just so important. And so just remember that. And it's really easy to forget that people are out there rooting for you, even people you don't know. Like, I'm sure you've made friends with people on the internet, and I know I have, and I'm out there rooting for them. You know, when they post stuff, when they talk about stuff, I'm like, yay, that's awesome, amazing. You know, talking them up, and they might be talking you up. And then you have people in real life, like your friends, your family, coworkers, people at work, therapists, whomever it is. People are out there rooting for you. They're feeling positive about what you're doing, even if you are making mistakes. They're like, oh, well, at least you're out there doing it, trying it, you know, figuring it out. And just remember that there's always going to be someone, and even if you only have one person, that's really all it takes to instill that like excitement, encouragement, and motivation in you. Okay, now here are some quick tips to help you overcome being overwhelmed or overworked in the moment. This is probably the part you were all waiting for, the tips, the actual tips. But I hope that everything that I said before was really helpful to really think it through and figure out your process. But okay, again, back to the tips. First, pinpoint what exactly is causing you to feel overwhelmed. You know, it could feel like a lot of things, but what is the core source? That is the thing that you need to figure out. The best way to figure this out is to ask yourself, what things, like if it's 1 or 2 or 3 things, could you take off your plate right now that would alleviate the most of this stress? And so if you ask yourself that question and you come up with a couple of things and you find that if you were able to get rid of those things, then those are the things that are causing your root feelings of feeling overwhelmed, and those are the things that you actually need to focus on and deal with. Next, an oldie but a goodie thing that I love to speak on: boundaries. So create boundaries in your life, personal and work, to fend off stress and being overwhelmed. So if you are finding yourself being overworked and overwhelmed at work, at your job, you need to create clear boundaries. If people are just giving you too many responsibilities, or if you have too many people coming to you with extra things that you just can't handle, this also gives you an opportunity to ask for help, to kind of delegate tasks to people. If there's just too much coming at you, you know, be really direct with the person that's above you to let them know, okay, this is not going to be handled well. I have too much on my plate. You know, not everything's going to turn out with the best quality if I'm not able to have a little more wiggle room here, or more people on my team, or whatever it is. So that is just something to consider. But even in your personal life, you have boundaries. You have people that are just you have relationship issues, you need to create boundaries there. If you feel like you are just being too clingy and codependent in your relationships, I've talked about it before. Please check out previous episodes talking about codependency and boundaries. That'll really help you if you do struggle with that, because if you don't already have boundaries in your relationship, despite how well and balanced it currently is, like even in my marriage, I feel like things go so well, but I have created boundaries because everyone needs boundaries. Everyone needs to have that line that if they cross over it, problems could incur. It kind of is like a warning sign, like, listen, if you continue to cross over this line, you will incur trouble, and it could just go off the deep end. So you need to kind of reel yourself back, and it also keeps you out of trouble, and it keeps you respecting each other. And so whatever it is that you're having feelings of feeling overwhelmed and overworked, create boundaries in that area, because it doesn't matter what it is, you can create a boundary. Are you acting on your perfectionist tendencies? then stop doing that. Being a perfectionist can really pile on the overworked and overwhelmed feelings because you are trying to do more than you are physically capable of, and you know it. You know this, and I know it might sound harsh for me to tell you to stop it, but you already know. You already know that you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be trying to continue to be a perfectionist. I talk about it all the time. It's one of the most terrible personality traits and habits to have, and I struggle with it, and I feel like I can really tell you that it is one of the most terrible things because it just eats you alive, but you continue to come back for more because the reward of someone telling you that you're so good at something, that you're so perfect, that you're realizing that you're just so amazing at something and continuing to get those accolades feeds that ugly monster that anything else bad that happens kind of just falls to the wayside. And so I'm here to tell you that you need to stop that. Please, please, please. You have to be reasonable with yourself. Lighten your load or find someone to help you with that, and lower your sky-high expectations, because if you don't, you will just fall flat on your face. You will incur more stress, more overwhelming emotional and possibly physical pain than you actually want. So I would evaluate that if you do find yourself having perfectionist tendencies. Lastly, let me encourage you to let go of your limiting beliefs. This is something I don't feel like I've talked about before, and I probably will talk about more in the future, but I found it very important to include in this conversation talking about feeling overwhelmed and overworked. So you need to let go of your limiting beliefs. An example of a limiting belief would be that if you do not accomplish everything you had set out to do, or feel like things will or have fallen through the cracks, you believe that you will be a failure, or that if you aren't there to be helpful, then you will be seen by the others as unneeded and not as valuable because you didn't, just show up, even though you may have not been asked to. You just felt like you needed to. You needed to be seen as valuable. Or even if you don't stay in complete control of most situations, everything will fail. And I have that problem too. I find this deep-seated fear that if I am not in control of so many things around me, that things will just plummet and not result in the best results. Things just won't turn out the best way that they could, and I'm definitely guilty of being that person that I'd rather just do it myself so that I know it's done right, which is not the right way to go. But those are limiting beliefs, and I know it can be quite easy to fall into this way of thinking because your expectations for yourself were too high. But know that if you take the time to eliminate those thoughts over time, you will be released from these beliefs and give yourself freedom to make mistakes and live your life, which is what you want. You want to give yourself the freedom to make mistakes, live your life, and continue to learn from all the experiences that you're going to go through, good or bad. So please evaluate if you find that you are having any sort of limiting beliefs in your life and try to cut those out. I am going to end this episode right here because I've been talking for, 23 minutes. And I mean, that does include the intro, but that's long enough. That's long enough. I think the longest episode that I have for all my podcasts is 33 minutes, and I prefer to keep them 20 minutes or lower, but today I just had so much information that I had to share with you, and I feel like podcasting is the best medium to do that because you can only write a certain length caption for Instagram. I'm having to edit mine down all the time. A lot of people don't necessarily like to listen to really super long YouTube videos, so podcasting, here it is. And I actually enjoy longer episodes for podcasts because it means that I can actually get through my whole workout or my whole walk or drive or whatever it is with something to listen to. So anyway, thank you so much for listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast. My name is Sabrina. I hope that you really enjoyed today's episode, and if you did and you know someone else that would too, I encourage you to share it with them. Please check the description box for the notes for the show, where you can find me on Instagram, which is at Sabrina Joy Perozzo. Please check out my website, which is sabrinajoy.com, and also you're welcome to send me an email. That email address is listed in the description box as well for any questions, comments, concerns, or prayer requests. I hope you guys have a great Thursday. Have an amazing day. Please come visit me over on my website and on Instagram. But until then, I'll see you next time and have a good one. Bye, guys.